Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. Happy to be here today with Jessica Hickey. She's the founder and director of the Downtown Greensburg Project. Girl, you got so much marketing to do. I don't know how you ever sleep. How do you do it all?
I don't do much else. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, we do a lot of stuff like months, days, weeks in advance, just to
and it helps the plan. Yeah. That's how you get it all done. And, the website's fantastic, the social, all the things that you do to get people to come to Greensburg. And a project that really is coming to life is the night market. So do you mind talking to us for a few minutes about that?
Yeah, sure. The night market, or the Greensburg Night Market, is something that we started in 2019. We started with, I think we had 5 dates that year or 6 dates. I can't even remember at this point. We had 6 dates because we had 3 on Pennsylvania Avenue behind the courthouse. And then we had 3 dates up at the Westmoreland Museum of American Art. And so I think that year we had a max of 30 vendors. And then since then it's sort of, grown. The second year was actually the year we had the first year of COVID. So we only had, we increased our vendors to about 35, almost 40 that year. And then last year we had 40 to 45 vendors. This year we've expanded to be 3 blocks on South Pennsylvania Avenue, and we have over 80 vendors. So it's really grown in the last, 3-4 years. And it's kind of crazy that it's actually happened and that it's so big this year.
So the first one coming up is on May 19th, which is a Thursday night. You found that sweet spots with a weeknight, right?
Yes. Well, actually, we had our first one. This is May 19th is our second market.
Okay.
So we had our first market on April 28th. So that was our first market. We added April this year. I wanted to do 6 markets instead of 5. October is just a little bit too late. It gets too dark too early. Mm-hmm. And we found that April is kind of the perfect. We found this year the end of April would work perfectly. So that's what we did.
So what, if someone doesn't know anything about the night market, what are they going to see when they get to South Pennsylvania Avenue?
So on South Pennsylvania Avenue, we shut down from Otterman Street to 3rd Street. So it's 3 blocks. What they'll find are local small businesses set up along the street, a variety of farmers and small businesses, artisans, candle makers, soap, people who make soap, different sort of crafts and artists, photographers, as well as people who produce different food items, whether it's ready-to-eat food, like we have the Pickled Chef, we have local family farms that makes burgers, or, ones that sell cheese and meats and vegetables, things like that. So we have a lot of those vendors. We also have our booze vendors, of course. We have distilleries, wineries, and breweries and cideries, I think that's the word. I'm not sure.
Yes,
ciders that set up and sell during the market. So we have a wide variety of vendors that come and set up for the Greensburg Night Market.
This is a ton of coordination. I mean, to work with the city. Is the city great to work with to say, hey, I want to shut down, 3 city blocks for a couple of hours on a Thursday night?
Yeah, actually, it was last year at the first market of 2021. I don't even know what year it is anymore. 2021. We had such a huge response for that first market that they came to me and kind of were like, hey, how can we expand this? How can we, make it more safe by not having 3,000 people in one block? So we kind of started the discussion of expanding it down Pennsylvania Avenue. This was, I originally had planned to do it as like a test the end of last year. It just didn't happen. I had craft beer week in the summer in September, so I just didn't want to do it. So this year I was like, all right, we're doing it, all 6 markets. We're going to go 3 blocks. I think they were surprised at first that I was just going to not do 1 market, that I was going to do all 6. But I'm the type of person that's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So we decided, we're going to do all 6 or all 3 blocks. And the city's been really great to work with. They've, approved it and helped us and kind of answered the phone calls of people not exactly excited that we were shutting down that many blocks and taking that much parking. But, after having the market last week, it kind of all paid off. So, they were great to work with between the city of Greensburg, the Greensburg Police, and the Greensburg Volunteer Fire Department. We were really excited to work with all of them and, make this happen.
How do you find these vendors?
A lot of research and searching vendors and different markets that are in the area. We have obviously a base of vendors that we have every year in every market that, apply early. We have an application period that is open. I think I open it January 1st and I close it February 28th. So we have 2 months of application process so people can apply. And then at that point, we go through every single vendor. We looked at all their social media and see what their products are and see if they're going to be a good fit for the market. I also go and look at other vendors or things that I don't have already that I would love to have at the market. I find vendors like that and personally email them or message them and say, hey, we'd love to have you at the market. But yeah, that's pretty much how we find them. And then we place everybody in dates. Everyone kind of gives me what dates they would like. It's not a guarantee that they get all those dates, but then we go through and we have, a lot of spreadsheets that get, used to kind of put everybody in spots. And then this year, which was new, was putting everybody in the blocks that they're going to be in as well. So it's been a lot of, data entry this year, unfortunately. So the not fun part.
No, I know. But what do the vendors say afterward? Are they saying to themselves, wow, I did great business, or, what's their reaction? Obviously they're lining up to get in.
Yeah. So this year, I walked the market, the entire market, usually with a local business cocktail in my hand to kind of, after all that stress. But I go around and talk to the majority of the vendors, say hi, because there's a lot of vendors this year that I haven't met before because they are new. So I like to kind of say hi. And during setup this year, I don't get to meet them as much because we have block leaders that take care of individual blocks. But a lot of them have been super happy so far this year with the turnout and the process and setting up. So I know we had a lot of vendors that sold out, whether it was food or, artisans, whatever. A lot of vendors did sell out in the first market. So now they know to bring a little more product this time. But yeah, we've had a really great response from our vendors. They were excited for the first market because I think we're the first market, any market of the season was us this year. So which is exciting. So it kind of gives us a little leg up on any other market.
Where would you park if you were new to this event? Where would you go?
So this year we really tried to give people information on parking and shutting down the streets, shutting down the street. The 2 blocks that we shut down, the new blocks, have not been shut down for an event like this in over 20 years. So it is a learning curve for people who do, live downtown or are downtown a lot. So we made sure to make, a little graphic showing, what blocks we were shutting down, where people could park, and listing all of the parking lots and parking garages and leading in a link to a parking map that we actually have on our website for City of Greensburg parking. So, there's the Bell Garage that has, 400 and some spaces on Otterman Street. And there's a lot of flat lots located downtown that people can park at. And then street parking, other than the blocks that we shut down, of course, are available. And there's free parking in all the flat lots and street parking after 5. So the majority of people who are coming in to the market aren't paying for parking. It is free. So if you have to walk a little bit, I understand sometimes it's not great, but it's a great way to bring people into town.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. And where can they find all of this information?
So all the information for the market is at greensburgnightmarket.com. They can find a vendor list for the upcoming dates. They can find attendee FAQs, like, do we allow dogs, we prefer no dogs, just because of the amount of people that come to our market, parking information, street shutdown information, volunteer information, if you want to be a volunteer for the market, all that stuff they can find on that website.
And when you come in, so this is everything, is it cash? Is it credit? What should you bring if you want to buy?
Both. So a lot of vendors, cash is king. So, a lot of vendors do prefer cash, but the majority of them, if not all of them, do take card. So, but we do ask, we do prefer people to bring cash just so, it's a little quicker, a little easier. And, just in case, you always want to have some in your pocket.
Yeah. So beer vendors, wine vendors, food vendors. So this all kicks off at 5:30. So really this is kind of your night out. I mean, this is happy hour and shopping all mixed in one.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can definitely grab something to eat. We limited the amount of food vendors we had this time. This time we limited the amount of vendors actually in general we had. We're usually, the rest of the season, we'll be closer to 85, 87 vendors. We were closer just to 80 this year, this first market, just to test it out for the first time. But the next market, I think we had about 4 or 5 food vendors. We'll have about 7 or 8 in May through the rest of the season, which is September. So we will have a little more food vendors, which is great. And we always have, our alcohol vendors are always very popular. So we have at least one of each on each block. So winery, distillery on each block.
Fantastic. So the Greensburg Night Market, the next one coming up is on May 19th from 30 to 9. And that is an opportunity for you to head to downtown Greensburg and check out some food vendors, some beer and wine vendors, and also all the artisans that are there, which sounds really, really nice. Anything else that you want people to know about it or give them a head?
Yeah. Also, the majority of the businesses in downtown are open that night. So a lot of the boutiques and shops, bars and restaurants are open. So we always encourage people to go to those businesses. We are excited to extend the market to be closer to a lot of those businesses sort of in the shopping district. So a lot of them are open. So a lot of them are having sales and things going on. So it's really not just the market, but also supporting the small businesses that we have in downtown Greensburg every day.
Sounds amazing. So this is Jessica Hickey talking to us. She is the founder and director of the Downtown Greensburg Project. She's been talking to us for the last few minutes about the Greensburg Night Market. Next one coming up on May 19th from 5:30 to 9. All that information is on the website, which I think is fantastic. But you have so many other things in the hopper. And after the commercial break, we're going to talk a little bit about the craft beer week, which is going to be great. But I love on your social, you're talking about patio season. What is patio season?
Who doesn't love to sit on a patio and have a cocktail and some food? When it gets warm, everyone just wants to be outside. So, we try to collect all of the local restaurants and bars that have a great patio to hang out on. So, we create an article every year that lists all the patios in Greensburg that you can kind of hang out on and have a drink with some family and friends. So we did that. We released that this week just because, the weather is changing. We know the spring is coming, summer is coming. So we wanted to get that out early to kind of push people outside a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of places in downtown or not downtown in just the Greensburg area that have a great patio. So we wanted to kind of encourage people to do that.
Yes, and a lot of these things are weather dependent, but all of these places remain open even if the weather isn't what we want it to be. And I think that that's really important to note and important to patronize these businesses. I'm sure they appreciate the work that you do, bringing people to town. What's the reaction from establishment owners in Greensburg about your work?
I think they're, I get comments often thanks for posting that, or, thanks for sharing my stuff. I think, or at least I hope, that they get benefit from what we do and, the events that we throw, because we really do try to promote them as much as possible. We have shifted over the last couple of years to focus on hosting large scale events for the community. But we've always kind of kept that. The thing that we've always done since the beginning is promote local businesses. So I think they've been happy that we've been doing that for them.
Oh, absolutely. Jessica Hickey is the founder and director of the Downtown Greensburg Project. She's been talking to us about the Greensburg Night Market and patio season. And after the break, we're going to talk about Craft Beer Week. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I am having so much fun today talking to Jessica Hickey. She's the founder and director of the Downtown Greensburg Project, and she is the woman in the know. She always knows what's happening in downtown Greensburg, and I would say that's probably because it's her job to do that, and she does a great job in that. She really wanted to talk to us today about Craft Beer Week, so let's hear it. Give us all the details.
Sure. Greensburg Craft Beer Week is in its 6th year this year, which is kind of crazy. It's 10 days celebrating craft beer in the greater Greensburg area. So we host, not us, there are about 40 plus events that happen in the area at bars, restaurants, breweries, different businesses that help promote craft beer in our area and a little bit further out. So we work with breweries in Westmoreland County, Fayette County, Somerset County, and even in Allegheny County. So we, try to push people to, try craft beer if they haven't tried it before, try different beers they've never had before, and really push people to those businesses. So, it's coming up in June, June 17th to the 25th. We moved it from September, which it has been in September for the past 5 years. We moved it this year to June to kind of give it a little bit of a revamp. So we're really excited to host it this year in June. We have a couple events that we're hosting. We're hosting the first ever Greensburg Craft Beer Festival. It's going to be on June 18th in St. Clair Park. So it is a ticketed event. It's from 4 to 8 p.m. So there's a VIP session as well as a general admission session. We'll have over 25 breweries represented that are going to be having samples, and you get a tasting glass. There'll be live music, food vendors, and some yard games and some other fun stuff happening. But that's going to be a brand new event for us and Craft Beer Week this year.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun. I'm looking at the website. I see GreensburgCraftBeerWeek.com. You guys have this all worked out already. And you can go on there. You can host an event, become a sponsor, or buy your tickets right there. So if someone was interested in hosting an event, this is for the establishments in the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And what's the criteria? How does that work?
So basically, we just ask that that your event promotes craft beer, in our area. So if you're wanting to host an event and you don't know craft or a brewery that you want to work with, or, you don't know what to do, you can always contact us. We can connect you with somebody who's looking to also do an event, or a brewery that's looking to do an event. So we have that. If you know what you want to do, you can definitely email us and say, hey, I have this already set up. Can we be a part of Craft Beer Week? And that's all usually an absolutely yes. It is free to host an event. We don't charge for that. We just ask that you promote it, make sure you have it on social and all that kind of fun stuff. So, we encourage people to definitely host an event if it's something that they're interested in, or if it's going to benefit their business or benefit craft beer. So we have worked with a lot of businesses and restaurants and bars over the last, few years, and it's always been fun and always exciting to see what people come up with.
It's almost like the fish fry phenomenon, where you create this database of fish fries so people can log on and look and see where they go. It only helps them to be a part of this, right? If they're going to have an event anyway, it's all aggregated in one place.
Yeah. So with Craft Beer Week, we do a lot of promotion. Like we'll have billboards up, we have social, we have, QR codes and information at a lot of the locations that are having events, so people are there. We usually put that stuff out about a month in advance, so they'll find out information about all the events that are happening. So we do a ton of promotion for Greensburg Craft Beer Week. We work with what's called Breweries in PA. They're a large website and blog and Facebook page that helps promote breweries in Pennsylvania. So we work with them as well, and they help us promote the week, and all the breweries and everybody kind of promotes for it. So it's been really successful over the last 5 years, and we're really excited too.
There's a whole movement with craft beer, right? I mean, you were explaining that to me before, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have, I can't remember at this point, we have a lot of breweries in, Westmoreland County and the surrounding counties. I mean, there's so many in Allegheny County as well. I think almost upwards of 40 or over 40 at this point. And I think we have about 16 in Westmoreland County. So, there's definitely a trend of craft beer and people enjoying it and trying it for the first time, and, finding out they love it instead of drinking, what we call is big beer or light beer, the Bud Lights, Miller Lights, that's all big beer as we call it. So there is that movement for supporting local and supporting, your friends and your family that are opening these breweries. And, they come from usually home brewers that brew just at home, these small batches, and they love beer so much that they open their own brewery. So we want to support that, those entrepreneurs that create their own thing. So, that's kind of where the whole craft beer week and everything started.
Yeah, it's important that you're always on the cutting edge of all the trends, because that's what people gravitate to. And I think you do a great job at that. Now, I noticed with the sponsorship information, is that how you fund the marketing, through the sponsorship information?
Absolutely. So any event that we throw, we fund it through sponsorships for individual events. And we also, at the beginning of the year, we collect partnerships, which means a Downtown Greensburg Project partner is somebody who is a sponsor for all of our events throughout the year. And, we promote them in different ways. But then we have individual sponsorships for the events as well. So we had them for Night Market and we have them for Craft Beer Week.
So important to have those partnerships too. And yours just keeps getting bigger and bigger. People love jumping on board with you, huh?
We've been really thankful to have some really, really great partners and sponsors throughout the years that really help us do what we do, because, throwing these large scale events, it's not cheap, it's not easy. And these businesses and organizations and companies really help us make it happen.
I noticed that live music is always a part of your events.
Yes, we try to. People love live music, so we really try to incorporate it. We have some bands that we always hit up. They're friends of ours, or we love what they do, so we really try to hit them up. We have it for Night Market. We had 2 at the first Night Market. We'll have 3 every Night Market for the rest of the season, 1 band on each block. And then for Craft Beer Week, we have 2 bands that will be playing during the Craft Beer Festival.
How do you find those bands? A lot of research again?
Social media, or people will reach out to us, or if we have, the bands that we always kind of hit up, we'll ask them, hey, who do you love? Who do you think we should have? They kind of know the vibe of the events that we have and what I'm kind of looking for usually. So we try to, hit that same sort of mark with the music that we have. We try to keep it trendy and fun and upbeat for the most part. So we sort of have, a sort of vibe that we always go for our events, and our bands usually know that. So they always give us good recommendations. Yeah, for sure. So you say who's your team? How many people do you have working with you? It's usually just me. I have an assistant that I work with. Bless his heart. He does such a good job for me, Logan. And then I have interns that work with me throughout the year, and they change out, every semester and summertime. And then for Night Market, we have block leaders that work individual blocks for the market, and then just our volunteers and family and friends who kind of keep me sane or keep me from not going crazy throughout the year. Once it hits event season, at least. You have a lot on your plate. That's wonderful, though. You do a fantastic job with that. So let's go over all the ways that you market. You website, social media. Why don't you give people who are listening now all the ways that they can learn more about the Downtown Greensburg Project? Sure. They can learn more about us at downtowngreensburgproject.com. All of our information about who we are and like what we do is on there, as well as our blog that obviously talks about the events that are happening or anything that we have going on or anything exciting happening in Greensburg, whether it's new businesses opening or events that are coming up or, somebody cool to know about. They can find all that information on downtowngreensburgproject.com, as well as our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Downtown Greensburg Project as well on there. Individual events, Greensburg Night Market and Greensburg Craft Beer Week, they have their own separate social with their individual names. So those are super easy to find. That's the majority of our marketing is social and the website. We do a little bit of print, some posters for Night Market and Craft Beer Week, and some billboards for both of those events. But that's pretty much it. We hit social pretty hard, and that's where we push things the most. We get some nice publicity and some nice articles from local newspapers, so which we're thankful for. So we get some of that too. Do you love your job? Sometimes. Yeah, but most of the time, yeah. It definitely gets stressful. But it is really fun. And, days like today or, a week after a big event, it's kind of just like what I call a fluff week, where I just am, planning for the next event, but it's nothing too crazy. So I'm thankful that, my job isn't really a 9 to 5. It's a whenever I need to get stuff done job. So it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. Absolutely.
And do you have a background in marketing? Is that how you got into this?
Yeah, so I went to Slippery Rock University and I have a degree in public relations, a minor in graphic design, and a minor in business. So I pretty much anything you see comes from us or comes from me personally, whether it's design or content, usually comes from me unless my assistant writes something up or we hire somebody to do some graphics, which I'm thankful for because it does save me some time if I do it. And if I always say, like, if something's not right, it's on me because I'm the one it comes from. So, it kind of just keeps me on my toes and keeps me accountable.
You are on your toes all the time, girl. And you have so much energy, so many things happening. I encourage people to jump on and learn a little bit more about the upcoming night market, about patio season, about craft beer week, all of this coming up in May and June, and the events just keep coming. You're doing a fantastic job of bringing people to downtown Greensburg, and that's your mission, right? I mean, that's what you set out to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I had a couple jobs after college, and I came from a background, or my family always, a few people in my family had owned their own businesses, and I think that's where I got it from. And I've wanted to do something on my own, and that's kind of how this was created, and kind of just ran with it. So, Greensburg, I'm originally from Irwin, so not too far away, obviously. So when I started working and living in Greensburg, that's when this kind of all happened. And, I've kind of wanted to see Greensburg be more than what it was at that point. And, it's been growing and it's been doing a lot of great things. So, and I've hoped that we've played a, small part in bringing new people in and making it what it is now, and hopefully even better in the future.
Oh, well, there's no question in my mind. You have done that and you continue to do that. Jessica Hickey is the founder and director of the Downtown Greensburg Project. She is high energy, high impact, and Greensburg is lucky to have her. Jessica, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. HJB.